Walk off the earth. This band has so much sound going on. I'm not sure how they have time to eat, bathe, sleep, or do anything. I'm talking to Joel Cassady. You're usually on percussion, but you play a gazillion different instruments as well as the other band members. Hey, Joel.
Hey, yeah. I mean, definitely jack of all trades, master of none situation. I did go to school briefly for percussion, for drum kit, but yeah, certainly joining Load. And it's been a great opportunity over these 10 plus years here to get a bit of a taste of everything. People tell us, oh, you guys could be like, just like, my buddies from down the street hanging out in your basement jamming. And we try to really kind of stay cognizant of that. And, there's something to be said for just grabbing an instrument and saying, I'm going to figure something out here. I might not be a virtuoso. I might not be, go down to the history books, but I can probably figure something out here if I have enough conviction that might tickle someone's ear in the right way and get them inspired and keep the momentum going. So it's been a wild experience that way. And yes, we're always looking to add more and more new, wacky and wild instruments to our toy chest for sure.
And sometimes these aren't even instruments. I saw that guys were using belts the other day.
Yeah, I mean, basically anything goes. In fact, if it's not first and foremost meant to be an instrument, that kind of almost appeals to us even more, because I think there's something that back in the early days, when it was really just G and the other founding member Marshall messing around, that kind of was the vibes early on. Just kind of like, let's use this creaking door sound, or let's use the microwave slamming as a percussion sound. And early days of YouTube, we're talking here, that seemed to strike a chord initially, and here we are a decade plus later, scratching more and more stuff off our bucket list as we go, and continuing to find weird stuff to keep ourselves entertained, of course, first and foremost. But I mean, hey, we've managed to really build a special following, and people continue to eat it up, so we continue to give it to them.
And I can't believe it's been 10 plus years. I was just looking at your cover of Gotye, Somebody That I Used to Know, because I actually heard your version of that song before Gotye's version.
Yeah.
Because it just blew up. And then, so I looked today on YouTube, and it's over 20 million hits in the last decade. And that's how you guys...
You must have seen a repost. It's got well over 100 million.
Oh,
you might have seen a repost. Those sneaky reposts, man. People are always reposting our stuff, and it's getting views, and then we got to go after them and everything. Yeah, it's well over 100 million, 150 million plus.
Wow. Well, you know what? If I was going to be a reposter, I'd be reposting your guys' stuff, because, musically speaking, you guys have one of the most entertaining social media platforms. Yeah. If I need to pick up my mood or anything, I just go to your Instagram, or you guys have your kids involved. Like Romeo, is he going to be making an appearance on this tour?
I mean, hey, anything can happen. Certainly, since the most recent kind of spike with G and Sarah's kids there's really been a kind of new excitement around that. And we've actually got them having formed a band now. And I think I don't want to give away too much yet, but certainly for those in the Southern Ontario area, or anyone traveling in for our Big Bud Stage show in June, they're going to be pretty stoked maybe see some of the boys on stage with us.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Romeo's the youngest Juno Award winner of all time.
He is. Yeah, that's no big deal. That's setting the bar pretty high for the young kid, but I think he's really excited about it all.
Okay, so let's go back to your social media, because I've been watching this song, My Stupid Heart, just get blown out of the water, not only by you guys, but there's other people making up cool videos, and you guys are sharing them. Like the one girl who painted her face, she has Sarah on one side and Johnny on the other.
I know.
How cool was that?
It's so cool, man. And it's just such a neat thing for us to continue to sort of evolve with and change with the times and change with the trends in terms of social media and how the average person is kind of getting their content. For a while, we were kind of in denial, I would say, about TikTok, for example, because we were already so invested into YouTube and trying to hold down IG and trying to figure out Twitter and all this stuff. But we eventually realized this thing is the single greatest free marketing tool available right now. We better get our stuff over to it. And it's not the content we make is locked to any one platform. So I think for us, it's been a cool experience over these years. And a big part of the reason probably why we've been able to stick around and stay relevant, to just kind of know that we've got something special here and find new ways to kind of plug it into a TikTok or anything, rest in peace to Vine and those sort of platforms and anything that's come and gone. We've always kind of found a way to tailor our content to those audiences. So if I could take a step back and look at us, as objectively as possible, I would say that's probably been a good part of the reason why we're still here and still going strong.
If I can get behind the scenes here, how does it work? Does one of you take care of Instagram? One of you takes care of TikTok? How are you setting that up?
Back 10 years ago, and really for the first probably 5+ years of us doing it, really I should say too, that we still kind of do basically everything ourselves. We're at a point now where we kind of backed ourselves into a DIY corner back in the day, and like it'd be weird to give up that control at this point. But certainly way back in the day there, we were just all hands on deck. So big shout out to Johnny, of course, for kind of like getting everything rolling back in the day. But once things kind of blew up for us, it was just kind of like, hey, let's just get in a room every day and just make content and do what we do best and just try to get it out there. And it's us hitting back out to every comment on a YouTube, on a Twitter, on a Facebook, on whatever. Kind of been us doing the thing the whole time. Fast forward, really in the last couple of years, we've been in a position to actually staff up a little bit. And our studio in Burlington, we have a few full-time helpers in there that allow us to just kind of schedule content a little better. And big shout out to Carly and Finn and Heather for really kind of helping us keep the momentum up and keep the kind of assembly line going as we just really continue to find more and more opportunities as this has gone on. I mean, it's I feel like there's so many groups that have a moment, and all the attention's on, and then kind of one thing will lead to another. I mean, certainly in bands, one of the big things is always kind of keeping egos in check, which we've always fortunately had a good go at. But yeah, it's been wild to just kind of continue to find new opportunities, and truly things are continuing to grow for us 10 years plus on when it comes to the original side and the cover side. And we were fortunate enough because of the internet thing to do a lot of deals with pretty cool brands and do a lot of kind of fun corporate gigs that I think in other circumstances would be a bit of a drag for certain artists, but we always find a way to make it fun. And one thing that I like to mention as well, which people find interesting, is when we get approached by a brand to do something. Let's say we recently did a huge commercial campaign for the UK and European equivalent of Tide Pods. They're called aerial pods over there. And when a brand hits us up, we don't just say, hey, let's do this as the hired talent. We say, hey, we've been kind of crafting this thing over these years where it's super important for our content to feel like us. We are not really in a position to want to do this unless you're willing to hire us as the production company as well, because really that's our brand, right? We kind of live and die by that. So that's been a cool thing over the years too, is to really kind of trademark, so to speak. It was certainly in those corporate contexts, this kind of production field that really has become so closely tied to us. And like I was saying, we couldn't really imagine, not doing that at this point. There's been a couple kind of isolated situations over the years where we've trusted another party, but by and large, we like to kind of keep hands on like that because we know that it works and we've got the kind of metrics and the history books at this point to kind of back us up on that.
And it really feels like I had no idea that you had help now with it, because it feels like it's always you. And I'm wondering, where do they have time to do anything else but think up different ways to make music and do all of this social media? It's crazy. Like the other day, I spit my coffee out at the royal family singing. Somebody that I used to know. That was hilarious. Yeah. But I'm thinking, because I've seen that app and how you can manipulate one voice to it, but you guys have 3 different things going, so that must have taken a long time to put together.
It takes a bit, and like I said, huge shout out for so many years there. It was us wearing every single hat, and putting on hats that didn't even fit, but just finding a way to make them fit out of sheer necessity, right? And I think that's been something we always try to talk about and mention to younger artists and people on the come up, is do every job until you're in a position where you can actually delegate those things, because not only is that going to really teach you in a very thorough way exactly what's going on and how best to kind of suit your product to what the world wants at any given time. Most people aren't in a financial position to just kind of especially getting started, to just kind of start to bring in all these other people. So I think it's absolutely the best way, especially these days when kind of everybody kind of needs to be that jack of all trades to a point these days. I feel like it's gone are the days of someone having a singular specialty. Not talking about of that 1% class of the Adeles and Katy Perrys of the world.
Right.
On the independent creator side, you kind of need to do everything these days to hopefully eventually years down the line be in a position to bring a few extra folks in to help with things like social media and scheduling, various things like that. So like I said, we wouldn't have it any other way, because it's really taught us so thoroughly and robustly over these years how best to kind of keep things moving. But it certainly has been a grind. If I could say one thing about us, I would say that it's just our ability to kind of continue to just find energy and keep each other excited and motivated and just kind of keep things going. Another big thing is getting a chance to travel around the world for a living and seeing how much talent is out there. People so much more talented than us who deserve way more than we've been able to accomplish. But for some reason, the algorithm gave us a shot back in the day, and as if we're not going to hold on to that for dear life and make sure that we get to keep our spot that we've earned here. So that's kind of a constant motivator as well.
Yeah, touring around the world. You have a huge tour coming up now. I counted 29 plus dates starting in May.
Yes.
You're starting in Canada. You guys are from Burlington. You said your studio's in Burlington. So this one starts off May 6th in Calgary. You're going to hit up Caesars Windsor May 12th. A couple more shows in Canada. Then it's all in the States. And you said that you've never had a tour this big before.
We have never consecutively gone on a full month tour like this in terms of the August one. The Canada shows are kind of like more just kind of in and out type dates, like the Calgary one, the Caesars one. Those are going to be great opportunities for us to kind of really get the new show feeling great. Of course, leading up to Bud Stage, our second annual hometown hullabaloo, as we call it. We played Bud Stage for the first time last year after literally years of COVID delays, and it was phenomenal. So we're trying to turn that into like a yearly thing now. Knock wood that everything is able to stay on track and we're able to do that. But yeah, getting into August. So our pal Lindsay Sterling, she's a fellow YouTube-born musician who's been able to really craft a phenomenal career over these years. And she gave us the call and said, "Hey, would you guys like to do this? I'm doing amphitheaters all over the U.S." And we said, absolutely, we would. That'd be fantastic. So the tour is selling amazingly. A bunch of the amphitheaters are already sold out, and we're really excited to get back out there. I mean, really, like we're still in the early phases here of being back to traveling regularly for the first time since before COVID. So it's all still feeling kind of new and exciting. And August is going to be a really awesome moment to really kind of, we call it tour tight. Like there's a certain, it's going to be cool to like start working on the live show as we're doing right now, the brand new live show, test drive it with some of these Canadian shows, and then really get it super slick on this Lindsay run. There's kind of no way to not have that be the case when you're playing every single day kind of thing. So that's going to be awesome. And like, even, it's funny, even getting back on a tour bus, like this is something that we haven't done for a handful of years now because of COVID. So we're just very excited. It's going to be great.
So do you need a different tour bus for all of your instruments? How many instruments do you take on tour?
So back in the day, we used to take like every single piece of proprietary gear in the whole thing. And then we were like, oh yeah, we should probably try and do this in a way that like allows us to like, make some money. So we've kind of pared down over the years and got a little more choosy with kind of the pieces that we bring. For example, like our Gotye harpalele is this kind of wild instrument that's we were able to design with Blueberry guitars. They're out of Montreal, but all their craftsmanship goes down in Bali, Indonesia. And they approached us years ago and said, "Hey, we'd love to make an instrument with you guys." We said, "Okay, strap in because we're going to make it wild." We pitched them on this thing where it's like there's a acoustic guitar in the middle, there's this kind of bass harp thing up top, and then there's a ukulele at the bottom, all part of one piece of gear, and then a bunch of weird kind of percussive things attached to it. That, for example, we've really found an opportunity to bring that with us every time because it's such a wow factor for people. People love it, and we always kind of like if the given thing that we're performing on it at any one time starts to feel a little old to us, we'll just kind of come up with a new medley or a new sort of exciting piece that allows us to still bring that. But no doubt, I mean, like that being said, there's still a lot of weird pieces of gear, and it's a lot of Pelican cases and a lot of road cases. Not as much as it used to be. We used to have like a whole dedicated truck for that stuff. Now we're able to kind of make it happen with like a trailer attached to the tour bus. So, always trying to find that line between giving people that exciting experience and also like being able to actually ensure that we can continue to keep doing this. Because it's easy as an artist, I think, to get excited about just going out there and just playing the shows and having fun and everything. That's one big lesson over a decade plus has been like we can do that, but we also got to think a little business forward about that and make a few calls that allow us to, like I said, kind of keep things moving.
It sounds like you are going to be moving this summer. We are excited about the tour for sure. Thank you so much, Joel, for taking the time with me and Walk Off the Earth. Make sure you get your tickets for at least one of those shows.
Yes. Thank you so much.